Which one of these figures is real? Are you able to tell? We're going to find out today in today's video.
Hey guys, Bearded Bricks here, bringing you guys another video. If you guys were able to figure out which figure was the real one, make sure you put that down in the comments. Now, what I have in front of me today is a bunch of figures, and I'm not going to ask you to tell me which ones are fake. I'm going to go through and tell you which ones are legitimate Lego and which ones aren't. And the reason I'm making this video today is because, some figures have released recently that I personally feel like they could have been better. And that's just my opinion. Yours may differ. Now, as we go through these, I will tell you guys who made them, how much I personally bought them for, and do I think that they are worth your time or effort regarding to what you may be interested in. We're going to start from my right side, your guys' left, and we're going to be talking about what Lego is producing currently and where they could improve things, in my opinion. And then we're going to slowly get to retired figures and customs, and then we're going to go to the dark place, which is Etsy and other sites alike. So, first things first, we're going to talk about figures that have been released as far as recently as last summer in regards to the TIE Bomber and the ATTE that released by Lego. Now, these figures, they look good. They are great. If you're trying to build an army, they're definitely something you guys should do. The ATTE is $129 retail, and it comes with 5 clone troopers and 2 battle droids. That's pretty solid. You get a Commander Cody. You guys also get a driver and 3 troopers. By most Lego, connoisseurs, that's excellent. However, for someone like myself, $129 does, on a budget, affect me. And so then I have to think to myself, okay, well, if I want only a handful of figures that I really care about, what do I do? Do I buy a bunch of these ATTEs for $130 or try to get them on sale or use coupons? It takes time. And unfortunately, I don't like waiting for things. So we're going to jump into where I think Lego can improve their figures. And then we'll talk about where they used to be with their figures. So mainly, we're going to talk about these clone troopers as their Imperial figures are flawless. I don't have any issues with any of them. But for instance, this 212th figure has received a lot of flack because of how the printing is on it. And Lego has addressed it, and they've said that it is fixed. Unfortunately, with many of the sets that I've seen online and on other people's videos, the figures aren't fixed in any of these newer waves for these figures. Some other people have also mentioned that the holes in the side of the helmet is also an issue. And for me, personally, it's not. It does make putting attachments on easier and more difficult to certain degrees, but I don't think it's a bad decision, at least for me. Now, this arrow on the helmet should be further up, and it should look more like it does, on the Black Series figures released by Hasbro, or on any other 212 Trooper, even in the game that Lego slaved over, the Skywalker Saga that came out last year, the 212 Trooper looks great in game, and that's what we all thought we were getting. Unfortunately, they had a printing issue with this figure, and we've yet to see, in Lego fashion, it fixed. And I find that incredibly unprofessional, in my opinion. We'll see if they make the adjustments. Only time will tell. We have them here from Mega. And so the reason I bring these figures up as well is that if you want opposable figures, if you want them to be able to move better, Mega Bloks does provide that. Obviously, Lego doesn't, but we don't want that from our Lego figures. We like the way that they move their arms, legs, etc. So what we're going to go through here as we go further in the video is different figures from different providers and what they offer as additional to what we've talked about with these figures. So we have this ARC Trooper here that I am going to be talking about now, which is a retired figure. It came out in the golden age of Lego Star Wars between 2005 and 2012. I have him currently on the speeder bike from the 2012 Clone Wars gunship. And this figure, I think nowadays this figure, as of time of making this video, I believe this figure is around $10. He could be more expensive, but obviously prices between used and new fluctuate. And this figure is simple. He has a stripe on his forehead. He has the binoculars piece that commanders have and the shoulder piece. And blue arms, and he has wonderful, if I can get him out of here without breaking him, he has wonderful chest and back printing. And I just don't understand, and not to mention his helmet is great too. And it's just a little interesting that over time figures can degrade. But that's where Lego has been for the past nearly 20 years. Some things are great, some things still need some work, and that happens. All right, guys, so now we're going to be looking at my personal favorite figures to purchase, custom figures. Now, customs do offer a lot of things that currently Lego is not offering. And that's typically the case is these providers, Clone Army Customs, Republic Bricks, Calypso Customs, just to name a few people that I have bought from and have had pretty positive interactions with. They typically fill these gaps that Lego, when they don't produce a figure, they do. With the exception of my mistake that's here, my Imperial Cody, I have the stuff downstairs to fix him. Unfortunately, he is not quite done yet. I have to do his helmet, and then he should be pristine. As you guys see here, I have my Captain Bakara from the Galactic Marines. As you guys may have seen the other review I made on those sets, you guys can check for the Republic Bricks battle pack that I bought a couple years ago. Definitely something I do recommend. So I have two of those figures here. I have a what I would refer to as like an Imperial clone trooper, or like a just like a gray trooper. We have the Ahsoka Republic Commandos, and then we have these Imperial troopers from Clone Army Customs. Now, from going from left to right, the Bakara trooper and the other Galactic Marine trooper, I got in a bundle for about $90. They also do come with the speeder bike and the AT-RT. So realistically, those figures, when you buy them from Clone Army Customs, cost about $29 to $35, $40 on average. And this is including shipping. Granted, they are more expensive, but they are completely custom figures. They have custom arm, custom chest, back, and leg and arm printing. And only a handful of figures do get that treatment with Lego. And the same can be said about what attachments you get when you purchase these figures. For instance, the Republic Commandos here that I have custom Katarn backpacks and DC-17 blasters, which would be incredible if Lego did make these. If you're watching Lego, please do this. And those small things mean a lot to people that make mocks or large battles. But again, if you're on a budget, these figures might not be for you. Alrighty, guys, so now we're going to be looking at the dark side of what some other creators believe is not genuine Lego or third-party vendors. Mainly, we're going to be talking about Etsy because that's where these figures were purchased from. So some of these vendors are reputable. They do buy from other sites like Alibaba or straight from China, what have you. You know, I would definitely be cautious about buying these figures. But on a budget, they can be helpful. If you're someone who takes photos or you create large battle scenes and you don't have thousands of dollars for the Lego alternative, you know, these might be useful if you're not putting focus on these figures. Now, I purchased these figures on accident when I went to a convention. I went there, I thought they were genuine Lego, you know, I gave them the look over, and unfortunately, I purchased a handful. And then shortly after that, I realized, you know, there is some merit with these figures. You know, For instance, take these three 30-second troopers that I have here, or these 3 20-second. The Ahsoka troopers that were retail for $40 with Lego. To get an army of these, you could either buy them from Bricklink for $15, which I think now they're more expensive since they've retired, as opposed to buying these figures for $5, $10. For someone that wants to have a cool battle and you don't have a ton of money, but for a kid or whatever the reasoning is, this could really increase someone's fun with what they're currently playing with. I will say be cautious when you go to buy these figures, just because they may look good, but they can be bad for the Lego audience. Now, Revan nowadays, if you want him sealed in his bag, is going to cost you, I think I've seen him on the low for about 200, and on the high end, if you want a really pristine one, it's going to cost you like $500-$600 for that figure. And it's because Lego has never made this figure again. It was only that promotional for May 4th, and that was it. He was never seen again. For someone like me that does not have a ton of money for figures like that, I think this is cool. This is good enough for me. And when you buy figures like this, you do have a certain responsibility that you let people know, hey, these aren't real. The moment you start trying to pass them off as a genuine figure is a problem. They're not. They're here to make they're here to make my other figures look really good. But that's generally my thoughts on knockoff Lego. If you're trying to build a really cool MOC and you don't have a ton of money, it could be useful. But know that there's no value to them at all. They are cheaper. The prints on them aren't as good. Definitely something that you shouldn't buy and get mixed up in your regular Lego collection. All right, guys. So the last thing I'm going to show you guys today, before I wrap up our video, is the differences when you guys are looking at figures. So I will preface this that the 5 figures on my right are custom figures. From left to right, we have 2 figures from Calypso Customs, and each of these were $40. I have Clone Wars Anakin, and I have Clone Wars Obi-Wan. Then next to them, I have 3 figures from Clone Army Customs. I purchased them through Republic Bricks, and I have the cuts on them with the neck and pauldrons don't look the best because I didn't do a good job on them. And then over here on your guys' right, we have the con figures. Now, the reason I bought these is for comparison's sake, to show you what you're getting into. Now, the Calypso Customs figures are really good. Lego has never made a Anakin that looks this good. He has his shoulder pieces, like he's wearing his Clone Wars armor. He has his chest piece. He looks fantastic. He has a different colored lightsaber hilt. All of that makes the figure look better when you're trying to make something that looks really cool, or you're trying to have a battle, or you're playing with your figures, or whatever you're doing. The cape on Obi-Wan is different, and it shows that the person who made these, and the reason the prices are so high, is because someone took time out of their day to make these. Customs, while they're not official Lego, the reason they're so expensive is because someone would put a lot of love into these figures. And that typically comes with what you purchase. Now, as far as the Clone Army Customs figures compared to the Etsy figures, you can tell the print on the helmet is wrong for the knockoffs. The helmet where Rex would have his battle, like his kills, is more on the top of his head, as opposed to the Clone Army Customs one, where it's on the sides, lining of the helmet. As well as the arm and leg and chest printing are just off. And that's what you get when you buy these figures. The cheaper the figure, typically, it's not going to look as good. And that's why the safest figure you guys can buy when you guys are doing figures is buying the Lego figures themselves while they're on sale at stores. I think getting into the realm of custom figures can seem very cool, but the only surefire thing you guys will have is when you buy from retail stores. Like I said, do your research, look at what you guys are buying, I would love to see what you guys think about this down in the comments. As always, I have been Bearded Bricks, and I will see you guys in the next one.